Attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everybody. This is Gary Zimmerman. Thank you guys for attending. Hope you're all doing well. I'd like to introduce Pamela with Intelliclick. She'll be taking the time this morning to go over everything. And yeah, Pamela, take it away. And thanks again, everybody.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Pamela Pearl, and I have been working with Intelliclick for almost 10 years now, about a decade, and with GoldMine for a little bit longer than that. And so what we specialize in as a company is CRM integrated email marketing with GoldMine. And you'll see the title is The Future of Digital Marketing. And it's interesting because we believed that a decade ago, and we still believe it today. And the first thing that we want to start off with before we get into our demo is really the top reasons we believe that this is the place to be in digital marketing. And for those of you that may be using other email service providers, very common traditional email service providers in the marketplace today, might well-known one like a Constant Contact that you've all heard of, we're actually very different from that type of traditional email service provider. And so I want to go through those differences right now because conceptually, once you understand this, it makes a whole lot more sense. The first thing that is so important to know is you do not have to upload and download your data. So everything, all of your proprietary company data remains secure behind your firewall. So no refreshes, no uploads, no downloads, no exports. So people love that. It saves a lot of time when you're getting your lists together for email marketing. The other thing, when I mentioned no refreshes, everything about your email marketing campaign, all of your click track data, opens, unsubscribes, click-throughs, website visits, requests for literature, anything you can think of, that all comes in real time into the database. And when I say real time, I mean within a couple of seconds of someone clicking, it's back there in GoldMine. And then I mentioned that we have these kind of what I'm going to call them e-marketing calls to action. They're these special clicks where someone can click and get a call back. It schedules a pending phone call in GoldMine and it alerts the assigned rep on the account, and someone on the other end can get a quick call back. Likewise, they can get literature fulfilled right to their inbox. They can get a quote when they need one, or a proposal. So it's very empowering, it's very fast, and it's very easy to be able to take a marketing activity and transfer it in real time into really what's a sales activity. So we close the loop between marketing and sales. And when I talked about alerting the assigned rep on the account, it literally sends an email alert. So a rep does not have to be in GoldMine to know that they had a call request and something scheduled on the pending tab in GoldMine to call back a prospect or customer. So we call those dynamic lead alerts, and the word dynamic is there because it means that it knows the assigned rep on the account. So Intelliclick knows which of your sales team should be alerted to call back a specific person, and it knows to send them an email. Also in North America, we have the ability to send text messaging as well. The website visitor component is also very unique and different from a traditional ESP in that whenever someone clicks on an email and goes to your company website, then everywhere they go on that website is also going to come back in as click track data into the GoldMine database so that you know everywhere they've gone on a website. People always ask the natural question, which is, do they have to click through on an email campaign in order for you to track it? And the answer is only one time. So once they respond to any of your email campaigns, then in the future, if they come back to your website, even if it isn't through an email campaign, it's still going to track and put that data into GoldMine. We do include analytics, reporting, dashboards. As long as you are on the version of GoldMine that had dashboards, I want to say it was Premium 9.5, maybe 9.0 that introduced dashboards. So as long as you are on that version or a later version, you will get the dashboards. You will also get a whole batch of Crystal reports. You do not need to own Crystal. A lot of companies that own GoldMine already have Crystal, but even if you did not get GoldMine with Crystal in it, we still give you Crystal executable reports. They'll still sit there on your reports menu in GoldMine, and we'll include both statistical and analytical tracking reports, and we'll show you that when we get to the demo in GoldMine today. I want to talk for a moment about database integrity management. This is a critical best practice for email marketing. One of the things that you'll discover about Intelliclick is we're very much focused on best practice email marketing. There are a ton of different components that combine to determine your deliverability to the other side. And database integrity management is one of those very important pieces. So what that means is if you send out an email campaign, we make sure that any email that's invalid, meaning it's a hard bounce, is going to get flagged in the GoldMine database. If someone were to report you as spam, we also flag that in the GoldMine database because you do not want to send to someone that reported you as spam. That can get you blacklisted. And so there's a lot of different pieces that are very important. We also address malformed emails in the GoldMine database so that you're not sending bad data out over the internet and potentially impacting your internet reputation. For those of you that need a tool, so all of the different creation tools, this relates to your creative email marketing campaigns, the HTML, which is the code that everyone uses to build out their emails and then track them. Pretty much all email service providers bundle in what they call WYSIWYG editors. What you see is what you get. I'll show you the one that we bundle in. We researched and reviewed a lot of different ones. They're all pretty similar. They all have pros and cons. We liked the one we bundled because it has certain special features that really are not available in most of the editors that we looked at. But here, the key here is it really doesn't matter where you get the HTML from. You might have somebody that codes themselves. You might have an outside marketing services firm that prepares it for you. Maybe you have a Dreamweaver or an Expression Web, an installed HTML creator and editor. It really doesn't matter where you get the HTML from, as long as at the end of the day there's a file that has HTML coded in it with hyperlinks in it directing where you want people to go, and that's what we use for click tracking. Now this is, number 9 is a new one. This is something that from its inception we were asked to build this in. It was a very complex development. It took a lot of development time. We finally built it in. We released it this year. And this has to do with triggering automated processes in GoldMine. So if your company is a longtime GoldMine user, you're probably familiar with automated processes. You may have had Gary build them for you. It's a complex area of GoldMine where you can trigger different automation. So what we did is we integrated Intelliclick with the APs in GoldMine so that you can actually trigger workflow automation at this point right off of a click. So very complex area, but pays powerful dividends, and so we finally built it in this year. We're very excited about that. And then finally, just want to address opt-outs. This is the all-important unsubscribe. So Basically, when someone unsubscribes, the GoldMine database is automatically updated in real time. The email that's been unsubscribed is flagged. We don't delete it. You can delete it. We do not delete it. But you would not be able to put an email. You would not be able to send to someone who has opted out. So I just want to talk about the notion of universal opt-out. We do not provide it, someone can opt out from this newsletter or that newsletter or this mailing or that mailing. When someone opts out, they opt out. That really is how we perceive the CAN-SPAM law. What we do allow you to do, if you wish, and the next two things are more sort of add-ons if you wish, is we do allow opt-in marketing where someone is able to opt into specific mailings. And we do allow opt-in from your website. So companies wanted the ability to both opt in inside an email campaign into a specific newsletter, or they wanted to have people be able to go to their website and fill in a form to opt in. Either way, if you want to choose that type of opt-in marketing, use email merge codes in GoldMine, use a flag or a field in GoldMine, that we do. In any case, no matter what, it's a universal opt-out. So I just want to be clear on that. And then finally, this is the bonus, and I talked about this with best practice email marketing. We train you on this. We record your training. Your training is personalized to your database. We do it on with your data, with your GoldMine. We talk to you about content marketing, getting to the inbox, both technical strategies as well as creative strategies. And that's really what we're all about. I would say that we are much more focused on CRM integrated marketing and not mass blast marketing. We're focused on more intelligent marketing. And so that's really kind of the big picture difference between Intelliclick and what you get with a regular email service provider. And now I want to kind of show that to you in action. So I've got GoldMine. I have our demo database open right now. And I'm going to move over to it to a regular basic record in GoldMine, and this probably looks pretty familiar to you. And I want to point out some of the differences. And by the way, while I'm talking at this point, let me just mention we are recording this. So if there are colleagues that wanted to attend and couldn't attend, they'll be able to see a recording of this. The other thing is that if you wish, you are able to post questions in the questions pane of the GoToMeeting control panel, and feel free to post them at any time. It actually sort of flashes at the person presenting the webinar and lets them know that there's a question out there. And if I can weave it in, you know, I'll be happy to take your questions in real time, or we can just wait till the end, whatever is more comfortable for you. But I wanted to just let you know that you can feel free to post any questions you want. So right now we're in the main GoldMine screen, and here's really the difference. There is a ClickTrack tab. That's the ClickTrack tab right here that is called an extended detail tab. You guys will see them as a detail tab in GoldMine. You're probably familiar where they store, you know, email addresses, that type of thing. So this is a custom detail tab in GoldMine. We name it the ClickTrack tab. And what it does is it houses the date you sent your campaign, the name of the campaign, so you see my Imagine campaign here, the date and time of the person who clicked it, the name of the person who clicked. So notice you can have more than one contact per record. We still, all of their ClickTrack activity is the same. So some GoldMine users have, you know, 100 people on one record, and some only have one person on a record. It doesn't matter. Intelliclick works the same. And then over here you'll see the different kinds of clicks. So you're familiar, let's say, with an open click, or we might have a website navigation tracking click. We call that a web nav. We talked about the different types of one-click calls to action. This is an example of an event, a quote request. We do event tracking as well, where you can put in your location, an on-site, you know, visit to a hotel or whatever. So we do offer that bundled in as well. We have literature fulfillment. That is down here where you can see in the notes it tells you what we fulfilled. And then of course a regular hyperlink click-through, someone goes to a particular hyperlink inside your email and it will direct them to wherever you're sending them to. So that's what your screen's going to look like. It'll be a little different. There's another component of it which I'm going to call the e-marketing tab, but you don't have to have these fields on an e-marketing tab. We just did it for purposes of making it easier to show you in the demo. These pieces relate to IntelliClick, but the main thing here is on the left side you're seeing the assigned rep on the account, their email, their GoldMine username, cell phone, and carrier. This is what I referred to as the data that will be in GoldMine so that we know who to dynamically alert when someone clicks on a request for a callback, who to schedule, which GoldMine username to schedule, who to send a text message to. So there are additional fields that we work with your GoldMine partner to make sure are in the database and that data is updated if you want to take advantage of these kinds of sales rep click alerts. You'll see over here that there's also other modules depending upon the version of IntelliClick that you purchase that have scoring of companies. So traditionally email will cover, and you'll see the click track tab covers the person clicking. On the engagement scoring, what we're doing is we're talking about the overall level of engagement of the company as a whole over time. So we look at it from a three-dimensional perspective. We're trying to give you the person, but then we're also giving you the company, and we're also giving you not just by campaign, but over time. And if I kind of start from the end, they call it a reverse demo, just to give you a sense, I'm going to pull up a dashboard, and this would be the end result of data. So I'll show you how we get to building out these campaigns and get the data, but let me just show you in the end, once a campaign is sent out, this is kind of what you'll get back in return. And I put a very simple campaign out where all we have is an open regular hyperlink click-through and web nav and an unsubscribe. So this is the kind of data you'll receive back in a simple dashboard. And if I wanted to isolate the data or who unsubscribed, I could click on that yellow unsubscribe box. Or if I want to see who clicked through on hyperlinks, I could click through on the blue box and find out everyone that clicked through on that campaign. I can see everyone that opened, the number of messages sent, the number opened. So that's an example of a basic dashboard. If I wanted to be a little more sophisticated in my email marketing, I could show you a different kind of a campaign where I inserted a lot of different kinds of clicks. So just to give you an example, if I show you this particular campaign, all of a sudden you can see much more sophisticated different kinds of things that were built in there. This was a literature fulfillment, and I could isolate everyone that fulfilled literature, or everyone that requested a callback, or everyone that registered for an event or asked for a quote. So you can see as I'm hovering over, the little legend is saying event IntelliClick product demonstration. Another one. So you can see over and over, this was a callback request. I'm hovering over the event there. Or the green one, we created a contact, and then this is who clicked through. These are hyperlink click-throughs. So the campaigns that you send out can be, basic simple campaigns all the way to very sophisticated campaigns. And we do, depending on what you want to do, what your objectives are to accomplish, we train you to those objectives. And for those that are high volume email marketers that are going to be utilizing these advanced areas of IntelliClick. Usually those are, and I'll get into the different versions. We have a standard version, a premium version. The premium comes with 3 training sessions. The standard comes with 2 training sessions. And it really is sort of based on, you know, what is your level of involvement with email marketing on a day-to-day basis, and what's your volume and that type of thing. And as soon as I finish the demo, we'll get into the pricing. And also, for those that attended the demo today, we have a little special bonus for you for attending today, which I'll get to when we talk about the pricing. So this is dashboards. Something you'll love is this mail-formed email dashboard. It will literally highlight for you every email in the database that has an error in it, so you can go in and correct it. So that's a really, really nice feature. We have a partner out in the UK that's a big reseller of IntelliClick, and they actually built this dashboard for us. So that's compliments of Wizard Systems out in the UK. So what we're going to do now is and also let me just reference the reports, and then we'll go back from the beginning and show you how we got there. This is the report center that you're familiar with in GoldMine, and you'll notice that I have Crystal reports installed here. So your GoldMine partner would put all of these Crystal reports executable files out there for you to run. And I had mentioned at the beginning that we had both statistical and analytical tracking. This again would be way more enhanced reporting than you'd get with any other traditional email service provider. And I want to explain the key differences, because these are huge. If I launch this success ratio and tracking details report, I'm just going to run a real quick report here for you. And we'll take a few campaigns just so you can get a sense of what I'm talking about. What do I want? I want my first responder there. Okay. So let me direct you to the second column down, which is the first responder campaign, the second row. And you'll see that I sent 344 emails here. I don't know if you can see my mouse. I'm pointing to the 344. And we had 79 opens. So basically this is just raw statistics. We're doing the math for you. We had a 23% open rate. Then what we do is we do the math for you where we divide the total sent or the total open by the total sent, which would give you an 11% click-through rate. But then we also divide the total click-throughs by the number of opens here, which you can see gives you almost a 50% click-through rate. So you can see the differences. There's a lot of nuances with the math where you can present data and have it look differently. What we do here is just give you the math. You can choose what you want to do with it in your presentations. We also give you an overall summary. If you include, now the Imagine campaign where I showed you in the dashboard where we had so many different kinds of clicks, if you include those different kinds of clicks in your campaigns, you're going to get the math outlined here for you. So we had an action request, a mail list sign up, lit fulfill, and so on. So you can see that the more you include, the more math that you get. Now, if you want to see the actual breakdown, if I expand on the left-hand side, this campaign, I can see the specific underlying data. So in this particular case, we had a hyperlink click-through that went to the demo page of our IntelliClick website. And there you go. That's the date, the time, the name of the company, the person, and the email that clicked through on it. If I want to see our website visits, and I'm highlighting here, the first one I'm highlighting, and actually what I keep harping on is comparison to typical email service providers, ESPs, Business Intelligence Webinar. You'll notice that this is really media that was embedded inside our website. So when I say media, I mean the comparison to typical ESPs is a PDF file, and this is actually a video file. So when someone goes to your website and you're doing website navigation tracking, it's pulling in both the URL pages. So this is an example of a URL page. We went to our demo page, or we went to the register page or some other page, pricing, but we're also pulling in data that is the underlying media within that campaign. So this is another video, rules of engagement video, brochure, which would have been a PDF file, pricing, which would have been a PDF file. So this is really critical because companies have white papers, they have other things, and most, if you were to ever, first of all, website navigation tracking is very, very expensive in and of itself, and we bundle it with this solution. But even then, it's very difficult to get the tracking of the media inside your URL pages. So I just wanted to point that out. So we're not really doing anything in this report. We're just showing you raw statistics. Where we convert them to analytics is in a report like a top lead report, where what we'll do is we'll take a campaign, for example, and we'll score your leads from that campaign based on their level of engagement, and we'll deliver to you a list of top leads. So that's what I mean about converting raw data into actually, into analytics that you can use. I have some older data in here that I want to pull out for you, so that's why I'm going back so far. So hold on a minute. Let's see, we're May 4th, so I'm going to go through to today's date, and I just want to point out some of the factors that get weighted into this score. Did somebody open it? You can see it's not too valuable because opens, it does say that you did get to someone's inbox. I mean, I would give it value there, but you might get deleted right at the inbox, or maybe they were previewing you. For those of you that use GoldMine for email, you can easily preview and delete. So open is a trigger for deliverability. I will say that. I think it's important to get to the inbox, but from that point forward, that doesn't mean anything in terms of their level of engagement. But if they click through physically on a hyperlink, let's say they start navigating your website, they're a little more interested, they might ask for a brochure. What if they want to spend time with you at an event? What if they ask for a callback? So obviously, in order of magnitude, we're going to get a more engaged customer. And what I wanted to show you here is just a chart of top leads. So this is what I mean about converting raw statistics into analytics. So this is all real time. So you can run this report whenever you want. In that top 10, we also had automated reporting. So if you have a rep in the field and they're not sitting in GoldMine with their Crystal reports to run it, we can send it to them automatically in the field. They can also request it from the field. So they can request it without even having access to GoldMine in the field. So I just wanted to point out the options that we have, and then also kind of the different types of reports. And what I just showed you would be similar here to a digital body language report, and this is really just an analysis of leads off of your website. And in this case, what we care about more is, for example, on the Imagine campaign, did they hit my homepage and bounce right off and leave? Or did they stick around for a while? Did they maybe visit 5 pages? Like, don't pull any leads for me if they didn't even stay on my website. I only want you to pull up leads where they actually remained on my website. And so I wanted to show you a profile of a really good lead, because when we do this report, we're really taking into account what is their level of engagement over time? Did they come back? Did they come back? Let's see, why don't I pick a campaign? That helps. Did they leave later and come back? So this is, if you look at this report, this is more of like a account summary planner report, where a sales rep might want to pull a quick report of what's going on. Only this is a quick report of their digital data. So this is an example. Let's say, let me pull one here. Here's one where they came multiple times back and forth to a website. So here's website, 219, they come back on 225. Someone that's coming back to your website, that's a pretty engaged prospect. They may investigate, go back, speak to their colleagues, come back to your website, get a little bit more information. So the rep is able to look over time and see how engaged have they been, what were they interested in our website before they're going to follow up and call them. So this is what we mean about getting website leads. This is one you can see April 11th. They came, they visited these locations, and they came back on April 13th. So again, a very, very engaged lead. So these are real-time analytics. And now what I want to do is, now that I've shown you the end result of what you get out of the system, let's talk about how you get there. When you have Intelliclick installed, you get this wizard that sits on your desktop. You can see it on the top here on my toolbar. And this wizard governs everything that you would need to set up an email marketing campaign. And one of those pieces that I talked about was an HTML template editor and library. And if I open it up, you can just get a general view. There's, depending on the version of Intelliclick that you have, you either get over 900 templates or over 700 templates. And so hopefully you can see it there now. This has over 900 templates. You can see, you know, broken out by category and subcategory. And the idea behind these WYSIWYG editors is you just pick out something that has a look and feel that you like. And then you can go ahead and change the text in there and upload your images. So you're all pretty familiar with that. And I want to go, ultimately, what happens is you get an email that you've prepared, and I'm just going to show you an example of a campaign. So I have an email built out, an HTML email that you're looking at right now. It's in the Document Management Center. All I did, just for you to see a quick peek of this, is just put it in my outbox. So this is an example of something we built out. So that's an HTML email, and it has hyperlinks in it. So what we do is we just make your hyperlinks track back to GoldMine. There's a little process with the wizard where you literally take your HTML in the campaign tracking piece of this, and you paste your HTML into a box. So that's about as difficult as it gets. You prepare your HTML, you paste your HTML into a box, and you hit prepare tracking. So the template that you're seeing that I merged here in the outbox in GoldMine, that has tracking in it. We took the HTML, we pasted tracking in it. So I am going to click on anything in here that's a hyperlink. This is a hyperlink. It takes me out to my website. So that was the hyperlink track. And then if I go somewhere like the webinars page or the features page, let's say to Castle Management, that's the Canadian anti-spam legislation, this will come back into GoldMine real time into that Click Track tab. So that's what we mean by web nav. So this would have been a web nav, this Canadian anti-spam, because I moved on the website. Or if I went, let's say, to integrations, GoldMine, that would be a web nav as well. So the original hyperlink was what I clicked through here, and then everywhere I went on the website. Now I talked about the special one-click hyperlinks, like a Call Me Now, where you have a button there where you empower the person on the other end to ask for an immediate phone call. If I click on that, it puts us onto a bundled landing page. I want to talk about that for a moment because these are key. We bundle our landing pages, and they're personalized to your company. These will not say Intelliclick anywhere. So you happen to be seeing an Intelliclick logo, but that's just because I'm doing a demo of Intelliclick. You would be seeing your company logo here. So envision your logos getting dropped into these bundled landing pages, and we bundle these for every different kind of click you can have. So if somebody wants to fulfill literature, I'm showing you what would happen. They're personalized. I used Gary's name when I was doing my demo. So Gary Zimmerman, your literature is being immediately sent to your inbox. This is a request for a callback. Gary Zimmerman, thank you for your interest. a representative has been notified and will follow up with you regarding your callback request. Now, in GoldMine, as soon as that landing page is hit, we're scheduling a phone call on the pending tab. We're alerting the assigned rep. I mentioned to you earlier that that's what we use these fields for. So if this person asks for a callback, John Smith, and that email and that username are what we are using to schedule the phone call on the pending tab and to send them an email alert. So everything is personalized, everything is real time, and you do not have to build out, this is a big thing, you do not have to build out landing pages for people to land on for your email marketing campaigns. These are all built in. If I were to unsubscribe, it would be the same thing. The unsubscribe is all built in. So if I just go down here and I click on an unsubscribe in the email, this is the bundled landing page, and it tells you the actual email that's been unsubscribed. It is such a pet peeve of mine when I get you've been unsubscribed and you can't see the email that's been unsubscribed because people have multiple emails, personal emails. I have a ton of them, and I can't see the email I've unsubscribed. So Intelliclick tells you the email that's been unsubscribed. And in GoldMine, I just want to show you what happens in real time. If an email is unsubscribed, let me just show you what that looks like. I'm opening up the email dialog box. This actually was someone who was unsubscribed because they reported you as spam. So that would be the code that would end up there so that we would know that you cannot send to this particular person, Sarah, because they reported you as spam. If an email is bad, you get a code of hard bounce. Let me see if I've got an unsubscribe in here. This is an unsubscribe. So this person, Jeff, unsubscribed from our campaign, and this is the real-time code. It says unsubscribe. So again, this is an opt-out. You would not be able to send to Jeff. So you could, Jeff might be part of a group that you send to, but he would ultimately get removed and you wouldn't be able to send to him. And since I'm talking about sending, after we build our campaign, after we insert all those click tracks, that's the sending piece. I'll just launch it just real quickly for you so you can see what that looks like. When you open up the email merge and send module, what happens is it asks you to, I think I already, do I have it open here? It asks you to select your database. So I'm loading the records, and I'll stop here just for a moment, just to mention that we do have multi-database licensing. Probably 85% of customers use one GoldMine database, but if for some reason you're a company that uses multi-database and you want to send and click track from multiple databases, we do have a multi-database license. So you can ask us about that, but basically the cost is 25% of the cost of the first license to add these databases in. But at this point, I'm just clicking, I'm picking our Intelliclick database. It's automatically prompting me to clean up my data. So when I say yes here, it's, everything's wizard driven, and it's just going to log into your Relay account that comes bundled with Intelliclick. Which we're integrated, our integrated relay partner is smtp.com, which is a pretty large, well-known relay provider. And so they will trap hard bounces, you can see on the left. We also trap mail-formed emails, so you can build a group and fix those emails. For those of you that may have large databases, this is really important. If you have large databases, you can see we have an email address verification file. If you haven't been doing email marketing for a long time, you've taken a break, maybe 5 years, you have hundreds of thousands of records, you really do want to verify your email addresses and get rid of the bad ones before you move forward. The cost of doing that is a penny per email, so pretty inexpensive to make sure that you stay on the right side of getting blacklisted. That is a critical component if you have a large database that you have not verified. Now, if you've been doing email marketing, a lot of you may already be doing it. If you have your hard bounce files and your unsubscribed files, let's say you were using Constant Contact, you are entitled to your hard bounce files. You're entitled to your unsubscribed files. So what we can do is when we install you, we can grab those files from you and update your GoldMine database. So this again is all wizard. It just asks you to reference your unsubscribed file, reference your hard bounce file, and we'll bring it into the GoldMine database when we install you, and make sure that on your first send and IntelliClick that you've already got your data and your ducks in a row, because we do not want you getting in trouble. We do not want you getting blacklisted. So that's what I was talking about before with data integrity management. It's absolutely critical that we maintain that and that you have continuity if you've already been doing email marketing. Once you're done with this piece of it, you can then select your group. One of the common questions I always get, so I'll sort of answer it in advance, is do you use filters or groups? The answer is groups. Why do we use groups? Groups are a much more efficient way to do email marketing. So we are not sending out of GoldMine at all. We are routing through a relay provider. The last thing you want to do is send out of GoldMine. That is a disaster. We are sending, this looks like we're using GoldMine, but we're not. We're sending through IntelliSend. We're respecting opt-outs. We're respecting hard bounces. We're respecting reports as spam. We are utilizing groups because you don't have to look at every record in the database. A group is a picture of the database at a moment in time, so it's very efficient, very quick for sending. We are referencing a GoldMine template with tracking in it. I'm going to just select a template just to give you an example here. We give you the ability to put in your own subject line. You're not forced to take the template name. This is your marketing subject line. We're going to track back to whatever campaign relates to that template. Depending on whether you have a dedicated IP account, which if you are a high volume email sender, that's very important. You want to put a dedicated IP account in place. If you need information about that, let me know. Those send at 10,000 an hour. Most of our companies are sending at either 3,000 an hour or 6,000 an hour, depending upon the version of IntelliClick that they have. Another key difference, you can send from anyone you wish. It does not matter. It can be the president of the company. It can be every rep. This list can be a mile long. You send from whoever you wish. This is typically an administrative function where a company has, let's say, a marketing coordinator or someone who is involved in coordinating the sales and marketing team together. They do email marketing campaigns on behalf of the company and on behalf of reps. So you do not need to be logged into GoldMine as that rep. You don't have to be logged in as IntelliClick as that rep. You can send on behalf of anyone you wish. And then this area mimics, are you sending to primary, additional, others? We give you the ability to preview what something's going to look like inside a browser. So you can see, you can take a good look at your final preview. We give you, I normally send to a test group that I built, a little, IntelliClick test group in GoldMine, but we also have test messages that you can send. You can send into Spam Assassin to get a score to see whether they think your message looks a little spammy there. So we give you lots of different little carrots inside. And then when you're done, you hit OK and you actually send. And then we give you a log. So I kind of have just walked you through the whole process of from beginning to end how IntelliClick works. Now's the time for questions, because I'm going to go back now. I'm going to toggle back to my demo, and your question might be pricing. So let me get to where I was where was I? Here's where I was at. I was at the demonstration mode. And let me just get into the pricing. So here's the pricing. So we have 3 versions of IntelliClick. We have Lite, Standard, and Premium. Lite is pretty much a skinny down version of IntelliClick. You get your hyperlink click-throughs, unsubscribes. It's regular click tracking, but it's integrated click tracking. So I would liken this more to like a constant contact type thing where it's a skinny down version, but it's integrated to GoldMine and you can get alerts. So that is, you know, a lot less expensive. You're a small database only emailing up to 7,500 emails a month. That is $17.50 in year 1 because we have the software, the installation, the setup, the support in year 1. Year 2 renewal onward is $7.95, so less than half, because once you're implemented, trained, and up and running, it's a lot less expensive to maintain. If you like what you saw today with all those extra one-click calls to action, the dynamic alerting, knowing which rep to send to, the website navigation tracking, you're probably in the standard edition version. Those are companies emailing 10,000 a month and typically up to 25,000 a month. So if you're under 25,000 a month but over 10, this is kind of where you're at. That's $27.50. Year 2 is $12.50. And then if you are much more focused on high volume email marketing, a lot of these companies have dedicated IPs. So just to clarify, the 25,000 a month of email and upward is through our shared server, unless you need a dedicated IP, which those typically are companies starting at 100,000 emails a month would get a dedicated IP from smtp.com, our integrated relay provider. And if you are in that ballpark, then please let me know. I'm going to put my email up so that I can give you the pricing for that and get you in touch with the people you need to be in touch with at smtp.com. Notice that click-throughs here, there's a pool of click tracks. 50,000 is a huge pool, by the way. But when you're doing millions of emails annually and you're doing hundreds of thousands of emails a month, that's an unlimited click track pool. So that's more money. That's $39.95 a year. So this, by the way, these are not monthly rates. These are annual rates. $21.95 in year 2. So, and then one other thing I want to mention here. There are companies that are definitely in the 10,000 a month standard, but they like some of the great features that premium offers that are not built into standard. That's this plus package. That's where you can pay $4.95 a year, so still much less than the original cost, not as much as premium on the renewal, not as much as the renewal, but it gives you like 6 different bundled features that come built into premium and not standard. You can get a plus package on top of it. And then finally, I want to mention, and this may or may not relate to you, we're actually about to do a large webinar on this. There's very, very strict Canadian anti-spam legislation. They call it the Castle legislation. It's about to go into effect. It's extremely strict. The penalties are strict. If you are a Canadian company or you're an American company doing business in Canada, this can relate to you. We built an entirely separate module for this. That's because the American anti-spam laws are entirely different than the Canadian anti-spam legislation. It is much more strict and draconian. You probably want to look at that if you have a big market into Canada. So I wanted to highlight that. Now, if you decide, because you've attended this webinar today, and this is the first time that we've done this, I was telling Gary that before we started, you get a special rate if you purchase by June 30th. These are the rates. Lite is $1,400. Standard is $2,200. Premium is $31.95. So those are really, really nice discounted rates going into summer. We always recommend this is a good time to get started, because I will tell you that once you get into fall, you get into the holidays, everyone and their brother is doing email marketing. You don't want to start then, you want to start now, because it takes you a little bit of time to build out your campaigns and get up to speed. Now is a good time to be doing this. That's one of the reasons we're giving you an incentive. So hopefully you'll feel that you might want to take advantage of that. And then finally, I wanted to put up Gary's information and thank him again. You can order from him. Gary's using Intelliclick internally, so he'll be able to speak to it. I don't know whether my information was here. I guess my information is not. So I will just let you know that I am ppearl at moreproductive.com. If you want to email me about dedicated IP or anything additional, I'd be happy to help you with that. So I am going to turn it back over to Gary. Gary, if you want to kind of step back in. If anybody has questions, please feel free to post them now. Gary, any comments?
No, other than Pam, appreciate your time. Great demo, great information, and yeah, if there's questions, great. If not, we'll obviously take questions later via email, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Okay.